Hello, I'm Jay Bowman, and thank you for your interest in this, our first quarter forecast of 2021 for Canada. As the seasons change and spring arrives and new growth comes with it, there's reasons to be optimistic about our economy as well. We look back at 2020 and GDP was down somewhere between 5 and 6%, but we may be looking at actually an increase of almost 4% in GDP by the end of 2021. There are three reasons why we should be optimistic about the economic outlook and therefore construction investment as well. First one of these is consumer activity. We're seeing an increased amount of spending on the consumer side, which drives the majority of the economy. Second, exports are increasing, particularly in lumber and food and beverage, which beat recent expectations. And last, government stimulus, particularly as we see that in the heavy civil and infrastructure side of things. So what does this mean for construction spending? Well, if we start with our non-residential construction index, which is a sentiment of where the industry is, for last quarter, it actually registered a 54.4. Now, anything over 50 suggests an increasing or expanding industry. Anything below 50 would be contracting. And so that 54.4 is above the 47.1 that we saw last quarter. So this sentiment actually falls in line with what our construction forecast is. Now for 2020, the year ended up down about 3% overall. And for 2021, we're seeing that sort of level off to down about 1%. But as you start to look forward, overall construction spending should increase by 1% and 3% in 22 and 23 respectively. So as we turn our attention now to the components of construction spending and the forecast we have for the next 5 years, it's important to remember that even though we're looking at an overall decline of maybe about 1% before growing perhaps as soon as the second half of 2021, that recovery is going to be highly uneven. So if we start with geography, British Columbia and the Maritime provinces will see probably a faster recovery, whereas those in the central part of the country may be a little bit slower in terms of their recovery. When we look at it from a segment perspective, you begin to see that impact of the stimulus that we were talking about. Whether it's transportation, sewage and waste disposal, highway and street, or other heavy infrastructure, that's where we see the most growth over the next couple of years. By comparison, those that still require crowds, commercial, office, amusement and recreation will probably be flat to taking a little bit more time to recover. So I think there are reasons to be optimistic about where our market and our industries are and where they may be headed. Now again, there's some unevenness to this, and that will impact your decisions about where to invest, what opportunities to pursue, etc. And remember, if you want above average outcomes for your organization, you have to say no to average opportunities. As such, I highly recommend that you download the full report at www.fminet.com, or better yet, contact one of our consultants or bankers to talk about your own specific issues and how you can prepare for this next recovery. Thank you.